That's all right.
Good, how are you?
Fine.
Good, thank you. Appreciate it. Public Service Committee meeting Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, and it's about 6 o'clock. Roll call, please.
Chairman Rick Strabing.
Here.
Vice Chairman Sherry Pickering.
Here.
Alderman Eve Ludwig.
Present.
Tricia Teague.
Present.
Robert Williams. Darren York.
Here.
John Cooper.
Here.
6 present.
6 present, thank you, have a quorum. Item number 2 is approval of the minutes for 5/28/24. I'll need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions or changes, deletions on the approval, on the minutes that were given to you? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you. Number 3 is approval of the agenda, and we got an additional paperwork was given to us this evening. I believe they wanted to get this in so we could get it to council next week. It's a resolution approving the statements of work for the fiscal year 2023 and 2024 financial statement audits. So with that, I'll need a motion in a second to approve the agenda as changed.
I'm sorry, where would this item be slotted in the agenda?
Well, it's probably under finance.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any questions on the agenda or any more changes? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, thank you. This puts us to item number 4, the audience comments. Do we have anybody wanting to speak this evening?
Did everyone have a chance to fill out a card that would like to speak tonight? If not, I have no audience comments.
Okay, thank you. Nothing under the chairman's comments right now. And puts us to item number 6, approval of payrolls for 6/21/24. Make a motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on the payrolls? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams. York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, motion carries. Puts us item number 7, approve vouchers payables. Looks like we got, is this SR is the first one, is that a
Special run.
special run? For 6/18/24. We got another special one for 6/20/24 and a regular for 6/25/24. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on the vouchers payables? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams. York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Puts us to the city clerk's report and items of information. Do you have anything for us this evening?
We are still working on transferring our licensing program over to CitizenServe. We're getting close to finalizing that. And we are just finishing up liquor license and video gaming renewals for this year under the new ordinance.
Okay.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Anybody got any questions for clerk's office? If not, thank you. Puts us number 9, community relations. Renee Olis, administrator, items of information, her monthly report.
Hi, everyone. So we have a lot of changes going on in Cora. So we have hired officially a new coordinator and intern. Our new coordinator is Caleb Bryant, and our new intern that we have is Lindsay Franz. Other than that, we've just been working on the new city website, kind of all of us getting comfortable since we're all in new positions and figuring them out. Does anybody have any questions or anything for me in specific? Yes, ma'am.
I have, I think I have questions regarding 2 different things. So the texting feature that was or was not tied to the website?
So our previous one was Text My Gov. It was not tied to the previous website. There was a service we paid for separately.
Okay. And then, and so that changed and the website?
Yes. So we were able to combine the website and the texting feature together, which
Okay.
ended up saving us some money.
Okay. And then I know one of the things in your report says that issues with the old website was that it was not user friendly, and then it was hard to find where things were located. Is there some sort of list or features or whatever that can be shared that was used to determine, you know, like these are the things that were wrong with the old website, and these are the things that the parameters that we use to determine which direction we are going with the new website?
Yeah, so I think a couple of different ways. I will say that I kind of jumped on the tail end. So I jumped in like the week that we were doing the training for the website, so I haven't been looped in for the whole thing. But I have looked into it a little bit because I knew there were some concerns. The first thing we did is I believe a survey went out to the public 2022, just asking citizens about like the different features and stuff of the website that they use, like what's most commonly used, what they have issues with, that type of thing. So it was based off that. And then the other thing was we reached out to the different division heads to kind of say, hey, when you receive phone calls, what are your citizens asking? Like in specific, like what are you guys' questions that you're getting most often? And then we incorporated that feedback to be able to make it a little bit easier and put the things that citizens are asking for most on that front page.
Okay. Do you have a document that could be shared that just identifies what those things are or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
We have a PDF of it, so I can make sure to get that sent over.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. That's my only question.
Any other questions? If not, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Puts us to finance, number 10. Ashlyn Macy is comptroller. Her items of information, her risk management monthly report, her personnel monthly report, and then if you would, explain what this resolution is all about.
Sure. Good evening. Are there any questions on the risk management or personnel report before I jump into other updates? Okay. Thank you for allowing me to discuss this draft resolution as an item of information. I am looking for a blessing to take it to the full council next week. On Monday, all bank reconciliations associated with fiscal year 2023 were posted in New World, so every single account is brought current at least through May. A lot of them are a lot further than that. Due to that milestone being met, we were able to hand over, quote, cash to our outside auditor, CLA, and they're working on wrapping up fiscal year 23. They hope to send that off to second review, assuming no road bumps are hit by the end of the week. So that means when it's out to second review, we're hoping a couple week turnaround. We'll have our finalized financial statements, and we would like to immediately transition into the fiscal year 2024 audit, right, which one runs May 2023 through April of 2024, which has passed, so that we can hopefully get back on a current timeline and no longer be delinquent in any area associated with audit, cipher, bank recs, anything like that. So that is the basically contents of the resolution in front of you. I've received a proposal or quote from Clifton Larson Allen. Normally we go out for a multi-year request for proposals of professional services to engage in a multi-year contract, but due to the circumstances that would put us back at least 2 months, and we don't feel that that's probably the best scenario for the city of Danville in this moment. So just a 1-year extension. They provided the fee. That's what's outlined there. In the next week before the agenda packet goes out for city council, I should receive the statements of work. That's what they're called now. They used to be called engagement letters. Now they're statements of work. We have one for the city and one for the DMT mass transit audit. Those would be attached if the committee agrees to let me take this directly to council next week. You would be able to review those in their entirety. I just don't have them yet. So are there any questions about that draft resolution?
I don't have a question about the resolution, but just to make sure that I understand or that everybody understands the reasoning behind the urgency. Our audit is due to the state by what, October?
120 days after the end of our fiscal year. So I think it's early November is the actual date, but yes, that's right around that time. And then we're supposed to have our annual cipher filed with the state by January 15th, I believe. We've missed that deadline, that's delinquent. We'll receive our CFA schedule of federal expenditures with the issue of the audit, fiscal year 2023 audit, so I can get that filed with the state. Then we'll also get the audit filed with the federal clearinghouse, and then we would, in the state and federal government's eyes, no longer be delinquent at that point. But we are still a little bit behind schedule for fiscal year 24, but I'm confident with the resources we have plugged into this that we should be able to get caught up.
Any other questions? Does anybody have any problem taking this to the full council? Because it's informational now, is all. With no problems, go to the council then.
All right, thank you for that. I have a few other little updates.
Okay.
So, like I said, all the individual bank accounts are now broken down, and those bank recs are complete in the system, which is a huge triumph. CLA mentioned that actually there were some, I guess, discrepancies in previous years that have been cleared up from us going through this process. So I thought that was a really good thing to bring to you. Multiple ARPA stormwater projects should be going out to bid mid-July. You know, the deadline for ARPA to have everything encumbered by December 31st, 2024. With that done, I think we only have like 3 or so more projects that would need to go out to bid and be encumbered before the end of that deadline. So that's something that you should be watching for. As far as my transition out, I have 28 more business days. My last day is August 6th with the city of Danville. And then in that time, I've been working on prepping the budget schedule, creating timeline and deadline sheets for my replacement, making detailed notations about ongoing and upcoming projects so that they come in and have all the resources they need and available to them. And then lastly, another update is we do have an open billing and collections position in the finance division. We have one of our team members is relocating to another community where they're a great asset. We're very sad for them to leave. Interviews are underway, but it's not too late to apply. So if you know anyone looking for a position to come and join the finance department at the city of Danville, that position is open. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Yes.
ARPA thing, do you have a list available of what the projects are?
Yes, I can email that to you.
Yeah, if I can get that. Does all that money have to be spent by the end of the year or just committed?
It has to be committed. So in layman's terms, we have to have a contract, bid awarded, and a PO created, so encumbered. The actual checks must all be cut and distributed by December 31st, 2026.
2026.
Yeah, so we have 2 years after.
And how much money's in there?
How much did we receive
How much
total?
available? No, I mean, what's left?
Well, we've assigned almost every dollar to a project already. A spending plan came through city council. It's been amended 2 or 3 different times. So almost every dollar, I think right now there's like $4,000 of, we don't know where it's gonna go. It's gonna go to an already created project because there are some that are just gonna go over budget because that is the time that we live in currently. Probably one of our stormwater projects, if I had to guess, or Garfield Park.
And are we still getting the interest that, Chris, are we
Yes.
getting quite a bit of interest every
Yes,
month or
so we created, per the guidance, a separate checking account for the ARPA funds. That money is sitting in a separate checking account in a separate fund. It is earning interest at an incredible rate. Before we started making big payments on the pool project, we were getting around $80,000 a month just in interest. We are allowed to keep that interest and put it in the general fund as revenue. I have not transferred it from one to the other. We're keeping it in the ARPA bank account for now. In the event that one of the projects we would like to get done with ARPA goes over budget to exceed our total ARPA distribution, that money is kind of set aside, squirreled away to make sure that we get those projects over the finish line. But whatever's left over, as long as it's all interest, obviously not the original ARPA distribution, but whatever interest is left over will come into the general fund as revenue.
Okay.
Anything else, John?
Mm-mm.
Anybody else have any more questions? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Puts us number 11. Aaron Marcotte, our fire chief, has 3 resolutions. 11A is a resolution authorizing a budget amendment for the purchase of Carrera Igniter Custom Pumper Apparatus. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 11A?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of
Okay.
I'm sort of confused on all this.
Me
so.
too.
What are we doing?
Okay, so initially when we set out with the ARPA fund, initially in the capital plan, there was 3 fire trucks to be purchased over a period of time. A truck, an engine 4 first, and then an engine 2. So, the truck's been purchased. We're waiting on for delivery. While we've been waiting for engine 4 to get, so when we bid and spec a truck, right, we have to go through a final build process. So we had a hiccup with the engine design because the Cummins said they weren't going to make the engine anymore. A few other items just kind of delayed that. So, and then me and Ashley talked in the capital fund. We initially moved engine 2's purchase back in relation to the fire stations. If you remember, station 2 can only fit 3 of our fire trucks. It's so small that it's hard to make a fire truck that fits inside there these days. So with all that, we're going to delay the purchase of engine 2. So in the meantime, that was the plan. But then the CVM came to us about engine 19, which is our 1992 apparatus, which is one of the trucks that fits into station 2, and said basically it needs to go. The repairs exceed the value. Again, it's 1992, so it's pretty antique-ish. They don't even, the oil is special order. The parts are just essentially drying up. It's hard to find parts for it. The motor's no longer manufactured, that kind of stuff. So now we kind of came back into, we need an emergency kind of purchase for station 2 again to make sure that we can fit one of our trucks in that station. So we went out and talked to a bunch of manufacturers. Most of them were too high or just slightly too big to fit into the thing, mostly over budget. We ended up working back with Ferrara again. They had a demo come available. It's almost identical to the truck that we spec'd. It's got a little bit bigger motor. It's got a little bit better suspension, which is why the cost is a little bit higher for that one. So if you look at these 2 resolutions, basically, essentially it's transferring the ARPA funds to that truck with a little bit extra from capital, I believe, to purchase that truck now and get it so we can fit in station 2, and then we delay the engine 4 purchase. And Ferrara has agreed to honor that price, which, so again, if you're looking 2 years now to order that truck, it'd probably be well over $1 million. They're offering it to us still at the $776. We'll pay for it in 2 years, essentially, if you approve these resolutions over the next few days. And of course, we'll have some savings too with the 3 trucks that we'll eventually sell. So that cost is you're getting that truck for eventually about half the cost. Probably would be 2 years from now. In the meantime, we keep all the trucks kind of going. And this other truck will be available here in the next coming weeks. So
Christmas.
No, this one's looking good.
Okay, out of curiosity, we were getting $564,000 out of ARPA funds. I understand that part of it. Why use a vehicle fund instead of that interest or whatever? I mean,
so we had the purchase in the capital plan and had planned to make that purchase at a point in time. Then ARPA came along, then all these trucks got delayed, and then a new need was identified. We decided to use the general fund now in the event that some of the other bigger infrastructure projects come up short, because we do have the money available now, and if we don't use it on the infrastructure projects, that money will still flow back to the general fund, I think was the thought process on that.
that it's not worthwhile to use all the money out of the ARPA funds? Or
Well, the ARPA funds are technically all encumbered at this point. The interest from ARPA is technically general fund money. We're just leaving it there in the event that those ARPA projects become an issue, if that makes sense.
it does and it doesn't?
Because we
That's
don't,
fine.
well, we don't want to pull, because of the capital improvement plan, in theory, every dollar that we have attributed to capital type projects or purchases is already committed to another project. So if we pull money for those infrastructure projects, we may be taking away from a different infrastructure project that could be just as well or even maybe more needed, that was more important but didn't necessarily qualify under ARPA, if that makes sense.
So the 272 is pretty much in the budget for this.
Yeah, it will, I think it's coming from reserves, but we do have it. Let me double check. No, it's in there. Yes, it's available. We're not amending the budget.
But it says authorizing a budget amendment.
The 272 is not. The first one is for 776.
Okay. I get it. We're good.
Okay. Anybody
Yes,
else
I
have
can get it.
questions on resolution 11A? Sharon? did you have anything? Yes. Mike?
So that confused me. Did we have $2.2 million for fire trucks in the ARPA money?
If, I don't have it in front of me, but if that's the right amount, we have already purchased another truck though.
And that was 1.2?
We've purchased a truck, already spent that out of ARPA. Sorry, I keep hitting this microphone. Now we're buying a second truck that is coming partially from ARPA, 500,000 and some change, and coming from the general fund. And we're purchasing a third truck that would be coming purely from general fund.
Okay, but how much was the first truck?
Okay, I'd have to pull it up, so if you give me a second.
It's like 1.663 or something like that.
1.6?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because originally we talked 1.2 and that, but I didn't remember what it was. Okay, those numbers add up, we'll do that.
Okay, I got a question now. This process started before I came on. We're buying 3 trucks.
We've already purchased one. The
Right.
delivery was just significantly delayed. Is it
yeah.
here now?
No.
It's coming.
Christmas,
It's
I keep
coming.
saying Christmas.
And then we went into bid for another truck, the second truck of ARPA. It is now also significantly delayed. It is probably not going to be here on time, and we do not want to risk that amount of ARPA money because a truck is being delayed. However, there's another truck that is going to be here soon. It's available. We can get it. We're going to spend the ARPA money that we had originally decided for the second ARPA truck and move it to third truck
To
and
replace the
spending.
second.
Yes, that's what we're doing because we don't want to not spend the
Spend
ARPA money and then lose
right.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And because that second truck is specifically spec'd to fit into our tiny little station 2, it can be a sole source vendor, so we're not worried about the bid.
So in actuality, this is the 3rd truck we're buying then, right?
The one for 776 out of the general fund, the custom pumper apparatus Ferrera Igniter, yes, truck number 3.
Truck number 2.
We need to rename these trucks. It's very confusing.
Yes.
Number 2 at station 3, like we need to rename these. Just throwing that out there.
And truck number 2 is the one we're guaranteed the price on that we're going to pay for in the future.
Yeah, so,
Yes, we're locked into
yeah,
contract.
it was originally gonna be engine 4, but
So
now,
we'll
yeah,
essentially
it'll return to
slay-
becoming
yeah,
engine 4.
we're going to save a lot of money by doing it locking in
Yes.
that price. Yeah.
Yeah, I would estimate that price would for certainly be higher than 900,000, but probably 1 or 1.1 by the one time, if you buy it in 2 years.
Just like the first truck we bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an example, the demo compared to the first one, when you approved 776 for this one back last December, it's already at 853, and that was with us cutting a lot off of it, so I mean, that's how fast.
Yeah, we did not want to walk away from that.
But at the same time, I
Supported
can see why you don't want to start playing too much with ARPA, because if you get it all back and trying to get rid of it, you're looking at a nightmare trying to get it
If you don't spend it, you have to return it.
You gotta return it, so. Any other questions on 11A? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams, York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, motion carries. Puts us 11B, have a resolution authorizing the purchase of a Ferrera Cinder custom pumper apparatus. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 11B's resolution?
No.
Just asking. If not, roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams, Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
Yes, motion carries. Puts us 11C. Have a resolution approving the purchase of Genesis Rescue System. Make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this resolution, 11C? If not, roll call.
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams, York,
Yes.
Strebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes. Motion carries. Thank you. 11D is items of information and monthly status report. Chief?
Mainly still going on is our recruit testing. We closed the application period. For now, we had 49 applicants received. We had the physical agility test last Saturday, so we're down to 41 now between no-shows and people that didn't qualify, but we're still at 41. So the written exam for that will be July 13th. I think in the packet I provided some of the demographic information for the testing process this year. Other than that, we were inspected by the Department of Public Health for our EMS system, our trucks and equipment. We passed all those tests. ISO was in our office on June 17th doing their inspection. So again, they come around about every 5 to 10 years, just kind of random, but all accounts, everything went pretty well. They check us on training records. This is what affects your insurance rates out in the public, so our class rating. So somewhere in October, November, he said we'd get the results from that. The only thing, 2 major changes since the last time we were inspected was Station 4 was open and we had a training tower, which is currently defunct again because of the station project. So we'll just have to see how that impacts us in the rating system. But other than that, everything else, training records and ladder testing records, all that stuff was up to snuff and par. Other components of that are the PSB and the water company gets inspected as well at the same time. So which is kind of out of our control. But do you have a question?
A few months ago, we did that study on 3 fire stations, and what's the status of that? Is it?
Yep, so internally, we've been doing some stuff. We've been taking station tours. I've been contacting a lot of people, architects and different builders and things like that, just to kind of interview and see how the process goes and learn. I attended a conference about it, just to get myself educated about the processes and things like that. So we've been doing all that kind of stuff. Earlier this week, we put out a request for qualifications for people to look up at programming. So that would be phase 1 for us, is how we view it. Programming is where they come in, they interview us, and it's kind of like just sitting down in this office 10 is 10 by 10. This office is, if there was a version of that in that study, this would be more of a drilling down of what we actually want here in Danville. So doing that, from that, they can give us a preliminary budget, and then we could bring that to you guys. So from that, you'll get like renderings, what it would possibly look like, where it would sit, what it would do. And then they'll give you a preliminary budget, really rough budget of what the cost would be estimated based on the area of what construction costs are and things like that. So it's kind of phase 1, step 1. We sent those out to just everybody that we thought that could build, these things in this area. Be posted here soon too. So we get those back. Essentially, it's for qualifications. So then we'll sit down and we'll interview them, try and kind of line them up who we liked the best, who answered the best proposal, gave us the best proposal. And then from there, start to negotiate the price for them to do that service, and that's when we'll come back to you guys and ask you guys to approve that service, whatever, for us. Really, we can't go either way. You'll need those renderings either way. So that leads to the future architecture being done.
In a perfect world, what would be a perfect timeline for all this to
What the companies have told us is if you could get that done and you could get funded by approximately October this year, you could be walking in the stations in June of 2026 or January 2027 if you wanted to. It would be a sort of a perfect scenario. No storms, no other collapses of the economy or anything like that. That could be the schedule for just a few that we've talked to, just a sample size of what we talked to and things like that. So meanwhile, we kind of just been researching the funding options. I know Ashland's working on some parts. I'm working on the alternative parts for how to fund it and things like that. So we're pretty early into that, but we've been getting some proposals on that kind of stuff. So if we can get those 2 things to come together at the time we're ready to ask you to go to eventually hire an architect, and then eventually let the architect do their bidding off these renderings, then go to a phase where they go to a builder, and then the builder could give them an actual cost, and that's where you can actually start to affect the cost of.
Are the plans still build new and tear down?
That's what I would propose at this point still, yeah, but that'll be you guys' decision.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
we're moving. It does take slow. They think programming, once we approved it, would be about 8 weeks to do that. That would involve them coming down here, interviewing all the firefighters, interviewing all the people that need to be interviewed, to figure out what we need to do this stuff. Once you move to hiring an architect, they say about 20 weeks for that process to go through, for them to actually, start really drilling down. And that would get you to your true cost of the things. So and we can do that. We can do that in different phases. We can do that we can get funded and do all that, or we can hire the architect, get that done, then we can hire you kind of want them two to work together, though, the builder and the architect to.
I think with everybody having all this ARPA money, right now, after the money has to be spent and everybody's sitting back waiting, I mean, that's when you're gonna start seeing this stuff happen all over, because all the money's gonna dry up.
Yeah, but we presented it, we got a presentation on it about 5 or 6 months ago, and I haven't heard anything since, so I didn't know what was going on, just didn't know if it was a dead issue or what, so.
Nope, we are moving, and we're learning a lot from the tours, like, of course, it's what you want, what you need, and then what not to do, right? That's the kind of the main goal of those things. And it's been really productive. Gives me a lot of hope seeing some of the stations that have been built for less and some that have been, built for more. You kind of get a good range of what the reality would probably be here. So it's nice.
Any other questions? Yes.
In a report, there's a number for the smoke detector installation program, 47 year to date, 102 previous years. Is that the entire year?
Yeah.
Okay.
The calendar year last year.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions for the chief? All right, thank you, chief.
Yep.
That puts us number 12, Human Relations, Sandra Finch, Administrator, her item of information, her monthly status report.
Good evening, everyone. For the period of May 21st through June 17th, I handled 1 complaint in the police complaints, 1 employment complaint, 3 complaints regarding other city employees, 5 housing complaints, 3 public accommodation complaints for that period. Cases that are still open, we have 1 police complaint, 3 employment complaints, 2 complaints that were closed, and then 2 housing complaints closed, a total of 21 complaints. So, do you have any questions regarding the complaints?
Yeah, just one. What's a housing complaint?
I'm sorry, what'd you say, John?
What's a housing complaint?
A housing complaint is, with this, with these housing complaints are landlord-tenant complaints.
Is that it, John?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so
Stop.
I just want to remind everyone again about Community Day, July 14th, downtown Danville, 2:30 to 4:30. And I know the mayor has put it on Facebook. I'm celebrating 34 years of service, of serving the city of Danville. So I'm just happy to say that. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That puts us item number 13, Information Technology. Agno De Silva, Chief Technology Officer. His item of information, his monthly report. Agno?
Thank you, Chairman. You should have all received the monthly status report. Are there any questions on the report? Okay. So I would like to introduce our new IT administrator, Blake Watson, back there.
Hello,
So he
Blake.
joined our team. It's a month and a half. So
Blake.
he's been, hands-on from day one, and he's been great help for us working with our team, trying to catch up with our projects and stuff. So, and I would also like to thank our team for all the hard work they do to keep everything up and running and optimal. That's all I have, actually. By the way, I've completed my 10 years with the city of Danville as officially an employee, but feels like I've been longer now. In fact, I started here as a consultant for city in 2000. So 24 years associated with city of Danville.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it feels great. This is my home, and I love city of Danville.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Agno.
you for your support.
Okay, puts item 14, Legal, Leon Parker, Corporate Counsel. His item of information, his monthly report.
Thank you. You have our monthly report for June for our city court cases. I would also add that we've added a couple of court dates just to handle our grass and weeds cases. So we've got a couple of extra dates coming up in July for that. And we've also, we also have 2 new rental housing inspectors that are going to start July 1st.
Anybody got any questions for legal?
Well, yeah.
Any questions on the reports? John?
This property maintenance, what is this here? Property maintenance code enforcement? Is there some type of guidelines you're gonna set or what?
Property maintenance is, it could be a variety of things. There's property maintenance, grass and weeds, and then property maintenance could be the condition of the home, accumulation of items, garbage in the yard.
Is something new? I mean, I'm just seeing this.
It's not new, no.
Okay.
As far as I've been here, we've had that, and before I started in this position, I was one of the hearing officers for 12 years, and we've pretty much always done it, as far as I know.
That's fine. I've never seen that sheet on there. These two new guys you got starting, what type of, are they following HUD requirements, or what are they, as far as inspecting rental units?
What we're working on is getting them trained and trying to figure out what we want them to do, and really it's going to be addressing tenant complaints in their housing, and just getting them up to speed. I'm not sure that they're going to need to follow the HUD requirements per se.
I guess if you're gonna go that direction, what type of rights are the tenants gonna have? I mean, it just seems like there's a lot of retaliation on when a tenant reports a landlord. And is there any way we can stop that?
Stop the retaliation?
Yeah, more or less. 'Cause if they don't sign a lease, and they're on a rent to rent, they're on a month to month, more likely they report something major on the interior or whatever. There's a pretty good shot they're gonna get evicted.
Well, what we want to do is make sure that we address, when we have a complaint come in, that landlords are providing habitable conditions for their tenants and our residents here in Danville.
I understand that, but what type of protection do the tenants do? Can we give the tenants any protection if they file a complaint?
So I don't know that there's any guarantee that we can provide anybody with anything.
That's
Well, we did put that in the most recent ordinance change, the rental registration ordinance change that was passed before our prior corporate counsel left. That was one of the reasons why we spent 6 months rewriting it, because it has protections. If the landlord evicts a tenant after and as the result of a complaint, then the landlord has to pay for that tenant's move. That's in the ordinance. So
the
there's
eviction part's
right, but then they'd have to pay for the tenant's move, because if it's as the result of a complaint, when they don't have, if they're on a 30, if they're not on a lease and they give them 30 days to vacate, we put that in the ordinance on purpose because of that.
Right.
And that ordinance was passed before our prior corporation counsel left. My question is there, or are you in the process of putting together a inspection schedule? Because part of the reason why we approve these two positions is not just for complaints, but so that every rental property in the city of Danville would be inspected. Now, obviously, they won't be inspected all in the same year, annually, because there's not enough inspectors for that. But part of the reason why we approve these two positions is because the expectation is that every property, whether there's a complaint or not, is expected to be inspected.
And that would be the ultimate goal. And with, as you pointed out, with just two inspectors and the great number of rental properties that we have, it's going to take a while to do that. What we really want to do, it's going to be a little bit of trial and error and get out, excuse me, and really just kind of figure out where the priorities are and address the more serious issues first. But yeah, the goal is to have the inspectors make rounds and just get to these rental units and make sure that they're habitable.
And you may focus on certain property owners first. Say it.
Pardon? I didn't. I understand.
Which one?
Have a public forum and find out really quickly.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah, you don't have to have a public forum.
so.
Is there any other questions for corporate counsel? If not, thank you. Puts us item 15. Chris Yates, Police Chief, is here. 15A, we have a resolution approving a memorandum of understanding between the Danville Police Department and Chris Healthy Aging. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 15A's resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams, York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, motion carries. Puts us to 15B, have a resolution authorizing the disposal of unused police vehicle maintenance equipment. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 15B's resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams, York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, motion carries. Puts us to 15C. Have a resolution authorizing the purchase of a police department vehicle. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 15C?
Two questions.
Okay.
Why a used one and why with a rebuilt title?
Well, a used one is because we're replacing a used one that was totaled. We've got, I think, $31,000 to buy a vehicle with, and it falls within the budget. And the vehicles that we built a relationship and of reliability with this person, and you can't tell the difference between a new one and a used one. Matter of fact, I can't believe how some of these vehicles are getting considered totaled in the first place, because I often get pictures of the vehicles before they do the first bit of work. So it's a way that we can. A new vehicle is right about $50,000 before you put emergency equipment in it. By the time you're done, you're right about 70,000, and we've got $31,000.
So rebuilt was what, it was totaled and he's rebuilt it, or
This one,
flood, or?
this one got rear-ended. I think he replaced the back gate and the rear quarter panels. Every car that comes in is inspected by our mechanic, and if he has any questions, we'll take it somewhere else for a second opinion. And they're guaranteed 12,000, 12 months. And I'll be quite honest, we have more problems with the new vehicles coming off the showroom floor than we have with any of the vehicles I get from this gentleman in his business. So,
Anything else, John? Any other questions? If not, roll call, please, on 15C.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams, York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, motion carries. Puts us to 15D, a resolution approving an application to the office, the Illinois Attorney General's Office for FY25 Organized Retail Crime Program. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 15D's resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, the motion carries. Puts us to item 15E, items of information, Chief's monthly report. 1A, May 2024 offense data, and 1B is year-to-date offense data report. Chief?
first of all, anybody have any questions on the monthly or the year-to-date? We're still seeing the same trend on the offenses that you were gonna get out on pretrial release. They're troubling. We're holding our own on violent crime, seeing reductions there on most of them. You can't go on overall percentage increase or decrease on those, because some of them are, you know, if you have two more armed robberies, you got a 200% increase. So, but actually the raw numbers per category, we're holding our own. We will be releasing our 5-year violent crime and data release, and that's going to be very promising. I think we'll be happy to share that. Any questions on that? Okay, the PTI, we got 3 people over there. They're doing very well. I've gotten some calls on them. They're representing Danville community very well in the department. Going back to what you guys were talking about on the inspections and tenants, we're in about, I mean, we handle 40,000 calls, 50,000 calls a year. About 25 to 30 of those are inside different residents, and a large portion of those are rentals. What you've seen, I think, whether it's police department, public works, legal, we can also be an arm of that in providing information to where the officers, if they see something that's, you know, that they can identify, they'll notify inspections and say, hey, this needs to be looked at. And then if anybody wants to blame anybody, they can blame the police for not living or providing a place that's livable, or if there is a hazard. So that's a tool and a partnership that we've built with legal, as well as the problem property committee that we've put together with them, and they discuss a lot of that. So that'll help also. John, or Alderman.
John's fine.
I'm sorry. Traffic speed radar sign, it's been ordered, 2 of them, for that location you were requesting. Those have actually helped out a lot. I looked at the data, but the data was provided by many of the companies that sell the equipment as far as before we bought them, but looking at it now, it's very, we see a change. When we look at traffic safety, we look at engineering, education, and enforcement, okay? This falls under the education part of it, to where we're letting you know what the speed limit is, and you can't help but to look at it. Now, some people will disregard it. Those are the ones that we pull over, and your warning was that speed sign, okay? In those areas, especially when we're doing radar or traffic details. I can tell you right now that the officers do not like writing tickets to people going to work back and forth from point A to point B, law-abiding citizens, okay? So that number is still reflects a lot of written warnings. However, we've seen a reduction in traffic crashes. If you sit there and park, you can be in your regular car and watch people tapping their brakes when they're going by them. Even if they tap their brakes and slow down and have a conscious thought of their speed, it still improves their driving awareness. If people could drive 100 miles per hour from point A to point B and never be at risk of getting in a traffic crash, why would we have speed limits? But the name of the game is to reduce the number of traffic crashes or pedestrian injuries. And we're seeing that, so I thought it was worth the city's while to go ahead and spend the money on that. We started our Intel analyst on Monday. He came in from South Carolina. It was a couple-month process, working it out, getting him over here. Agnell met with him today. I think Adam All and Agnell met with him today. I think that they were pleased. So we got a lot of good things. The sky's the limit with this young man, and I think he'll do very well. Online reporting is up and running. I haven't seen how many we've gotten, but we have received some. And if that'll make it convenient for some of the people that don't really need to speak with the police, but they need a report for insurance or for whatever reason, they can do that. And also it takes a little bit of the numbers and the burden off the officers to where they can look at proactive and more quality of life determining problems or challenges. I've had a lot of activity out of Friendly Town. Every day, a lot of kids there. On weekends, I'll go out and work, and we'll open up the gates, and there's always several kids that usually come in there and ask if they can ride pedal bikes or something like that, and we get them out. The July 14th, no, I'm sorry, that's your community day. July 27th, we're having a event out there partnering with OSF for a mini marathon, as well as outdoor fun day. What we're trying to do is teach kids, give them different ideas of athletic activities that they can get outside and away from their electronic devices and have fun instead of, you know, exercising their thumbs on PlayStation or Atari or whatever they play now. So, but anyway, OSF's being a really good partner. They're actually spearheading most of it, and we hope to see a large crowd out there. That's all I have.
Any questions for the chief? All right, puts us item number 16, which is closed session, which there's no need of. Items of information, we will meet here next Tuesday, July 2nd at 6 p.m. Committee members and comments. Anybody got anything? Well, if anybody's out by the grotto this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're having the small mini boat races out there all 3 days.
That's this weekend.
That's this weekend. Friday, they'll start coming in Thursday night, and they'll be racing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, Friday night we got a band outside. Saturday night we got a band outside, and it's free charge. All you gotta do is show up and enjoy it. I think 90 proof is the first night, and being the Bobs, I think the group plays over at Covington all the time. The 4th of July over there, they're gonna be over here for Saturday. So come on out and enjoy yourselves. Due to the fact we've taken care of everything on the agenda, I need a motion and a second for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. We are adjourned. Thank you.
John, fine.